Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at the Lost Ruins of Arnak, but we're also going to throw in the Leaders expansion, all right, or Expeditionary Leaders expansion. Let's take a look at this from a solo perspective, see if this is the kind of game you're looking for, all right? And as usual, folks, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, as it greatly helps me out. So this is the end of a solo game with the final round. I'm going to show you how it plays, but let me explain to you what kind of game this is. This is a worker placement, deck building, resource exchange kind of game. Okay, so it's got a lot of different Euro mechanisms that you've seen before washed into one. And it's a fairly easy game to play, to be honest. The turns are quick. The content is simple to understand. The cards are very self-explanatory, and they're on the more straightforward side. And so that's the kind of game this is. You're trying to discover new sites, which are ultimately tiles that, when you go there, give you whatever is on the bottom, okay? And then when you discover that new site, you might also encounter a monster, or you will encounter a monster or a guardian that you have to basically pay this stuff to get out of there without getting a fear token at the end of, or fear card at the end of the game. And if you get that, you get to keep this. It's worth 5 points. Plus, it gives you a one-time benefit over there. So that's kind of interesting. You can also hire different helpers by moving up on this research track. The research track gives you a variety of different things for cashing in different resources in the game. And as you go up higher, the rewards get better, all the way to the point where you can start spending some of your resource tokens to get these basically victory point tiles. They don't do anything else, but they do give you victory points as a way to work that engine. I wouldn't say, though, that this is really an engine building game in a way. I mean, you do have decks. As your deck gets stronger, you can play stronger cards. As the board gets filled out, you get better spaces to move, but it's not like you have a specific engine in front of you. Now, what else do you get with the Expeditionary Leaders? Well, first of all, you get a bunch of different, I think there's 5 or 6 different asymmetric player power tiles, which I think are very good and help to breathe some variety into this game. You also get a bunch more of these item cards and a bunch more of the relic cards, which helps just add more variety. You get a couple more of these research track. Basically, it's 2 more of these that make for more variety in the board, and a couple more of these. Ultimately, the only mechanical changes that you see are the specifics and what are your asymmetric player powers let you do. They just let you kind of do some different actions, but the mechanics are very much the same. So what that means is that adding the expansion to this game does not increase the complexity really at all. What it does is it just adds more variety and probably gives you more gameplay versus anything else. And so I think that's good, and it would not be difficult if you bought both at the same time, for instance, to just integrate them in a single package and start playing. Wouldn't be a problem. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain, or just play a couple of turns, because it really is that simple. And like I said, on the board, you've got places that you can go, that you've got cards you can buy, you've got research that you can pay for, and then a couple other variety of actions. The one thing that's really nice about the solo is it's extremely easy to manage. You basically flip over this tile, and they basically block you. They do score points, which is good. It's not just to beat your own score, but it's a blocking mechanism or a mechanism to kind of move the cards around. So let's go ahead and get started. This first tile I flip up, it tells me that I'm supposed to put one of the blocking workers from the AI on the top spot that has the ruby. So that would be this. It effectively blocks me out from using that great spot right there, which is a shame. Now it's my turn. I have this hand of cards, okay? So I'm going to be working from this a little bit off camera over here with this holder just to help me work it out. And so I can do all sorts of different things on my turn. I can dig at a site, which means discover a site. Dig at a site, which means use the effect that's already there. I can discover a site, which lets me get these little 3-point bonuses and then dig at that site. I can overcome the Guardian if there was one out there that I was on. I could buy an artifact card that are worth points but also do special things. I could buy an item card which I'd have to use later. So there's really no point besides just getting the points, except that I have a special card with my asymmetric player power, the special delivery, that lets me put the item card right in my hand and use it right away, which is cool. That's one of the big things with this person's special delivery. I could play a card. If it's a free action, meaning it has a lightning bolt, it doesn't count as my turn. If it's not, like this Monkey Island, I have to go ahead and play it as my turn. And by the way, these blue cards usually require you to pay one of the little tablets to actually do the effect once you've acquired it. I can do the research while I'll move up over here, and then finally I can pass. So that's all the different things I can do. Not getting any more detail into the mechanics, let's just go ahead and start taking some turns here. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Monkey Medallion, and that lets me buy an item card and place it on the top of my deck. And the reason I want to do that is it helps me score 2 points. I'm not going to see this most likely, but I want the 2 points. All right, I flip over the AI tile again. It says buy the most highest point cost one of these cards. So we just did that. We replenished that, and it's that simple to go through their turn, which is great. I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, activate a site you occupy. If it's that, you must pay that first. Okay, so the tent is kind of cool, but we're not there yet. Ultimately, at the end here, I'd like to try to get to this space in order to maybe buy a couple of these things, or get as high up as I can. I didn't get very far in either of these tracks this time, based on the strategy I did. Okay, so anyway, what I need to do here is I need to get one of these red tokens, or the red ruby, what have yous. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend this card here, this fear card, which lets me use a boot to move to this boot location. And then I can spend this as my card that I'm not going to use, just card that to get this red thing, okay? I also, because it's an instant action, can exhaust my little helper here to discard that, because that's worth -1 point at the end of the game. So we don't want that. And there we go, I used one of my 2 workers. All right, now round 5, he's going to go ahead and dig at the site number 5, and it's going to show me the leftmost because of this arrow. So he gets this, which goes into that spot right there, and this, which goes into that spot right there. I got a little break there. Not scoring full points for those. All right, so he flops that up, and he pulls a Guardian out. All right, and that's his turn. Now on my turn here, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. So I do want to move up, and I think I want to get closer in here just to get more points. That's a 4-point move right there. So I'm going to exhaust this guy to count as my, you know what? No. I'm going to use this ship, which also counts as a boot, because you can use planes for anything, boots, or planes for anything, cars or ships for boots, and then boots for boots, obviously. So that works fine just like that. I move that up, I pay my tokens. It gives me an extra discovery token, which is good because I might want to buy one of these. And that's my turn. Okay, he says conquer a Guardian. You're going to conquer the one on the left. Doesn't really matter because it's 5 points for him. Now back to me. I am going to, I could discover a site, which might be the best way to go, with the potential, wait a minute, so yeah, I could just discover a site, which would give me 3 points. It's probably the best way to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discover this site over here. And to do that, I have to play one of these cards just to count as my travel icon. All right. Actually, no. I want to flip this guy to use as a plane for my travel icon. So I move this here. I get the bonus. It's worth 3 points, but it also gives me one of these dollars or coins. I flip up a level 1 site. All right. Whoops. And it gives me another discovery token or expedition token plus a blue one. I had to spend 3 expedition tokens to go there, and then I roll up this Guardian. Okay, so that was a big turn there, but you saw the mechanic, and it's not very hard to do that. Now when I go there, oh, I already, sorry, I already got that. Okay, so now he is going to move to the site that gives him the arrows, and then it's the furthest to the left here. Back to me now. So I've just got a couple more moves I can make. I have one more card. I would like to pacify this thing if I could, and I'm almost there. I just need a tablet. So in order to get a tablet, I can effectively spend one of these things. I don't get the bonus of the points at the end, but I do get 2 tablets, which is good. So that's an instant action. And then I can spend the tablet, the arrowhead, and the expedition token to pacify him, put him over here. That'll be worth 5 points at the end of the game, which is good news. All right, the AI now goes to the next site that meets those conditions. And back to me, I have 1 tablet and 2 coins. Not exactly the most resources I could have at this point. So I have 2 coins. I could play, no, that's not gonna help. Well, I wonder if I missed this or not. I can't remember. I thought I paid the tablet to use this. If I didn't, I didn't, and I made a mistake. And it doesn't really matter because tablets aren't worth anything at the end of the game, I believe. And I have one here, so, but I just don't remember. And I didn't even get this card. So let's just pretend I didn't do it and I just pay that just as a potential penalty. Okay, well, I've got 2 coins left, which doesn't do me any good. I don't have any expedition stuff left. I can't move up here. I don't have enough stuff there. So I've pretty much exhausted what I have. The only other thing I could do is sacrifice an endgame point to draw 1 more card or get something here. And I don't think that's prudent given the situation that I've got going on right now. So I think I'm just going to pass. So after I pass, I'm finished. Okay. And he has to finish up what he's going to do. So that means he's going to boost up there as there's 28 points, which is a lot. Plus get one of these, which doesn't count for anything at the end. Flip again, move to this spot right here. Flip again, move to the spot that gives coins, and flip a final time. He will get the most point value card here. Okay, and that is it. So that's the end of the game. What we would basically do now is score points. We'd score points for where we are in this track over here. So I would get 12 points for being there in that spot. When 1 point there, he'd get 28 for being up here. We'd score for any of these tiles we bought and we didn't. We'd score bonus points for these areas. We'd score for our different guardians that we collected and defeated. We'd score points for our cards, and then finally lose points for any of the fear cards. And that's it. So you've kind of experienced a fifth of the game kind of as it fills out at the very end. And so for the most part, this is what you get when you play this game solo. All right, so I hope that was helpful in helping you understand what you're getting in here. So let's talk about some positives and some things that are neutral and some things I don't necessarily care for. First of all, the positives. This is a good game. It's got a lot of good theme. You do feel like you're doing some of this stuff where you're digging so that, you know, it's a surprise, right? There's a lot of hidden information. So when you go to a site, you don't exactly know what you get the first thing. So it's kind of a discovery. I think that fits for the theme. I also think that the research stuff seems to fit with the theme too, and that's good. So overall, that's good news. I also think that the game is beautifully illustrated. It looks great playing it. It's just fun to look at, and that's fantastic. I love how easy the solo Automa is to play. If you play it with all of the red tiles, it provides a decent challenge. You can change some of the red tiles to be green tiles, makes it a little bit easier. You can also download other cards online at the CGE website, which gives you some more variety and maybe makes things even harder. And they even have campaigns. So there's a lot of content here, which is awesome. And I think that adding the expeditionary leaders is a good bonus for those who like this game, because those asymmetric players for the different leaders makes it more fun just from a standpoint of doing some different mechanisms. I think that's a win, and it doesn't add a lot of complexity. On the neutral side, this is a medium to medium light game. There's not a ton of brain-burning decisions here. Most of them are fairly straightforward. You kind of know what you're going to do. However, it's a little bit of a trap game in the fact, I shouldn't say trap game, but there's traps in the fact that you can't just completely just play by the seat of your pants, so you're not going to do all that well. You're going to have a mediocre score. Just like any Euro game, you've got to pay attention to what you're doing and not just kind of flop here and flop there and gather points. There is a little bit of a point salads aspect to the game, but you're going to be better off, you're going to get higher scores if you pay attention and you focus your strategy. As you remember, my magnifying glass was kind of almost to the top, but I didn't quite get there. Should have been planning a little bit higher to get there. I did it. I decided in this case I was going to discover more sites to get more of those bonus tiles to try to get more points this time instead of focusing as much on the research track. So, that was a decision I made at the beginning. So that's kind of a neutral thing, which is fine. And I would say that the other thing that I would say is neutral is that, it's a tactical game. It's not very strategic from a standpoint of I'm going to try to focus heavily on one strategy. There are a couple strategies you can do, but for the most part, there's a lot of tactics because you don't really know what it's not an engine building game, I should say. So you don't know what sites are going to come up, and what sites do come up kind of, moves your tactics around, and that's fine. From a, I'd say, downside of things, I wish it was a little bit meatier, I suppose, but that's just me. I don't think it's an easy, super light game, but I wish there was just a little bit more to it. And that's a very, very small nitpick. You have to have in your game collection, your game library, different levels of heaviness, I think. And this one's on the lighter side. And you know what? That's okay. I say it's a negative only because I actually like the gameplay so much. I wish there was a little bit more meat and potatoes of stuff to do that made some of either the combos or the decisions a little bit heavier. But that's again for me. So I think this is a very good solo game to play. You saw how quickly you can execute it. Overall, I think it's well worth the investment. It doesn't do anything brand new, but it takes a bunch of different mechanics that have been tried and true, puts them together in a synergistic way where the sum is greater than the parts. So that's what I think about it. Hopefully this was helpful in helping you understand, do I like a kind of game like this? Would I want to play a game like this in solo? Do I need the asymmetric player powers or the different things that the Expeditionary Leaders expansion adds? I hope that is all helpful. Regardless of whatever you do in the future, I hope that you have a good time playing games and you have a good, blessed Easter, because I'm recording this around the Easter time. So wherever you're watching this, maybe it's not going to be around there anymore, but for those who are watching it recently, please have a happy Easter. Thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate it.